Ime Udoka gets ejected for calling out LeBron, and Rockets versus Thunder preview. Let's talk about it.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Sumit State of Mind, presented to you by the Apollo Podcast Network. In this episode, we're going to discuss Ime Udoka's exchange with LeBron. The Rockets' road losing streak continues, and we're going to preview Rockets versus Thunder. Of course, I'm joined by my brother, the GM. GM, let's go straight into it. Ime Udoka gets ejected for calling out LeBron and the entire Lakers team. For good reason. The Rockets lost 107-97. We're going to discuss that game and the losing streak in the next segment. But coming out of the gate with an Ime Udoka LeBron James exchange, I did not have that on my bingo card on a Saturday night, but here we are discussing it right now. Ime Udoka ultimately gets ejected for this, but how are we feeling overall from that little exchange that they had?
Let me tell you, man, I've never felt more proud to have Ime Udoka
Build the
as my
statue?
coach.
Is it build the statue?
Build a statue for that
all
man.
right, we're in it.
This man standing on the bench, standing up to LeBron James. You know, people, the king of the NBA, blah, 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 blah. You know, Ime Udoka does not care. The man came from the Coach Popovich tree. I'm really curious to know, when Ime Udoka was in the league, how he played against LeBron, and if they had any exchanges at that point as well. I'm just very curious. I don't know much of that history. We grew up watching the Spurs too, winning titles in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s. I don't know how to go about that. That's what we say, 2010s.
Roughly. Yeah.
But I don't think Ime was in the league then. But
no,
I don't recall. I do not recall. But I'll tell you this: it's amazing to see a coach stand up for his guys, challenge an opposing player. You know, like our last coach his nickname was Smiley. That says everything that you have that says everything that you need to know. To have Ime Udoka, who's just naturally a badass, he carries himself with such bravado to where it can be a little intimidating. Right. And just that in itself is huge. He kind of adds to the aura. Well, he brings an aura to Houston. He doesn't. Is there really anything to add?
We're 8 wins in within the first 17 games. We're now officially under 500 because of it. I mean, we're 8-9 now, but I mean, Ime culture. We talk about it all the time. Ime culture. Now there's an Ime aura.
Yeah,
I like it. We're just taking a step up. We're just climbing up the mountain here. All right, GM, if anyone obviously does not know, I have a question to each and every one of y'all. What did y'all think of Ime's comments towards LeBron James? Drop a comment on our YouTube channel right now. Let us know how you felt about it. Did he deserve to get the ejection? Did LeBron deserve to get called out? We want to hear from each and every one of y'all. So go ahead and drop that comment right now. That's it for our question of the night. GM, I think we need to catch everybody up. Let's give them the exchange. You know, it was brought to us by Legends_NBA on an account on Twitter that officially had the verbal exchange that went down, because initially when the broadcast happened, you heard vague words, but you weren't able to decipher it. Shout outs to Legends_NBA for being able to decipher the entire exchange. So, you know, let's go ahead and we can go ahead and do the whole transcript. I can be Ime, you can be LeBron.
Okay, yeah.
You want to do that?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
LeBron? Okay, that's cool.
I'm sure
you can be LeBron.
I'll do LeBron justice.
So this is about what this quarter was probably.
It's the fourth quarter, right?
So yeah, so sometime during the fourth quarter, right? So sometime during the fourth quarter here, where Ime started kind of exchanging pleasantries with LeBron while there was a foul occurred, and then there was free throws going on at the line. Udoka goes up to LeBron and says, "Stop crying like little bitches, man. Stop bitching.
We're all grown men. Nah, that bitch word ain't cool. Don't use it so loosely."
Yeah, I said it.
Don't use that word so loosely. Don't you use it so loosely, though.
What are you going to do about what I said? Walking over here like you're going to do something, you soft-ass boy. First of all, I felt like I was there.
There's nothing
what
more.
What are you going to do about it? Ime Udoka called him out. What the hell are you going to do about it?
There's nothing like calling a grown-ass man a little boy. Like that. There's
stop
nothing
crying like
worse.
Little bitches. I love that.
Unreal.
Soft like Charmin 2-ply, man. Like, no, that's what and that's honestly how I felt about it, because ever since the Rockets, went to Pound Town against the LA Lakers at home, we had that 35-point blowout. It seemed like LeBron made it a personal agenda to like get calls going his way, especially when he's playing against the Rockets. There were 30 plus free throws. Not the last game, but the game before against Houston.
Yep.
And then 28 to 29 free throws this game. Like, the free throw discrepancy is insane, and we're going to go into that in just a minute, but to put a bow on everything that's been happening between LeBron and Ime, my sentiments matches yours pretty much in terms of how I feel the way Ime was kind of treating the whole thing, because Ime's sick of it. Like, dude, you're the best player in the NBA. You're playing for the Lakers. You're in Tinseltown. You're going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time. Like, why are you bitching? You are literally 38 years old.
Yeah.
You are like on the twilight of your career, yet you're still trying to politic to these refs to get a leg up against competition, against the Houston Rockets, who have not been relevant, which only shows me one thing: that LeBron has made it a personal agenda to get to the Rockets, and two, that to a degree he may be a little threatened by the Rockets.
That's exactly it.
And Ime knew that. So I love the fact that Ime stood up, chest out, build the statue in Houston now, because I'm ready to talk my mess, and I'm ready to stand up. It don't matter. You could be LeBron James. You could have been Michael Jordan in the 90s. You could have been Kobe in the early 2000s. Drop Udoka in any of those eras. He does not change. He doesn't change with the current. Udoka aura, the current changes within Udoka. And I think I love and I love the way that he kind of dictated that, kind of, put the stamp on it. He got ultimately ejected, was the second technical of the game, rightfully so. I wanted him to get ejected because I wanted him to put his stamp into the game and let these refs know this is not okay. This has been happening so many away games now, like I said, which we're going to go into. However, but for that microcosm of moment, within the vacuum of that game, the foul discrepancies, the calls against Dylan Brooks, the bad calls going every which way against the Rockets, the way it has been throughout the 8-game road stretch where we're now 0-8, it's been tomfoolery, and I'm getting real tired of seeing this. It slows down the game. It doesn't benefit the players, and you're ultimately just catering to your superstar. It's not a good look. Let the boys play. Let them play the game, and find out what happens. Like, LeBron being obviously not okay with this whole thing, feeling a little threatened by the Houston Rockets. I find it a little silly, in my opinion. I love that Udoka put him and the entire Lakers franchise, including the refs, in their places a couple nights ago. So I'm a big fan of it. I'm happy.
Me too.
It was great. By the way, your exchange was wonderful. I mean, you really got into character. I felt like you were like
little did
Leonardo
you know,
DiCaprio.
Little did you
just
know,
really funneling into the character.
I'm a huge method actor. I literally went into the room, put on a headband, and had to start yelling Taco Tuesday at myself.
Oh my gosh.
Randomly, and to pretend to flop, go in the air, and to start celebrating. Whoo!
Oh my gosh. Whoo! We're having this conversation. I had to buy into this character that is LeBron James, and I had to remember, but I had to be really a showman, but also be a soft ass little boy at the same time. Oh, there you go. And we wrapped it, and we wrapped the segment up with
wrap it up in a
bow, right? And gift it to y'all. Merry Christmas to everybody that's listening to this episode. We're in December after all. GM, let's go ahead and move on. The Rockets road woes do continue. The record has extended now. We're 0-8 in the entirety of the totality of this 2023-2024 season.
Yeah.
If I were to tell you that on December 4th, past December 4th, our next road game isn't until Friday, December 8th. If I were to tell you that the Rockets are going to go into at least December 8th winless on the road, would you believe me in terms of the way that this team has been operating?
Okay. I would have believed. Man, it's very hard to say because
the Rockets the past couple of years they got
terrible.
But the team the past couple of years they've gotten a road win before 0-8.
Yeah, I would have. Okay, this is the thing.
You know what I mean?
I was not. Like I said it in the first 16 games. I expected us to be 6-10. Yeah, that was just my initial feeling. If we weren't to win a road game yet, that could be possible, but that would have been a shocker to me. This team is a lot better than what we see, but also we've seen the Rockets play against fully healthy teams on the road, and we're seeing what happens. But also there's an unfriendly whistle. There's been a lot of inconsistencies amongst every player on this team. We can't really get a collective good game amongst all of our best
we really
players.
can't. Nope.
It's either one or the other that kind of picks it
on
up.
the road.
On the road. We haven't had much consistency on that forefront, but it's still a surprise. Like, I think that 0-8 is not ideal. It's not very good, frankly, but it's okay. We're still 8-9, and that's crazy.
Yeah, we're 8-1 at home.
It's crazy to put that out.
0-8 on the road. To
think about that.
I mean, the discrepancy is huge. You're looking at Mount Rushmore as opposed to a molehill here. But I mean, look, Rockets lost the Lakers 107-97. Let's touch up on the game, obviously, beyond the Ime Udoka and LeBron James exchange for what it was. Alperen Şengün, he did have his worst shooting night of the season. He only shot 8 of 25. It was a rough game. It was a rough game. And quotes to Ime Udoka post game that did say this was the worst effort that I've seen all season from my guys. And there's no excuse behind that. You have to not, like we said, what I said earlier in terms of Ime culture, don't let the game dictate you. Let yourself dictate the game. I think that's what we need from this Rockets team.
Yeah. I was going to quote Ime, because you did explain how he said that he, like the surprise in terms of the performance. He did say that he was shocked to see this team get punked by a team that's not known for its physicality.
not known for punking opponents.
Exactly.
Well, you can punk opponents. You can also punk opponents if the refs are leaning towards a certain direction. That's another way too, because it slows the game down. It plays to Anthony Davis and LeBron James's pace. They want the game to slow down. They don't want them to go at a free reign. They don't want to see Jalen Green fast breaks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want to see Şengün with Showtime passing. They don't want the game to speed up. Dylan Brooks even called out the Lakers and LeBron as well. He said he thought the whole thing was a whole bunch of nonsense. His thought process has been a microcosm of what it's been mostly for Dylan Brooks. If we're going to talk a little bit about it, just at least a player, they have been spotlighting Dylan Brooks. I feel like he's averaged between 4 to 5 fouls every game. At some point, where does the line get drawn where Dylan Brooks can still play his brand of basketball? And granted, he does make stupid fouls here and there, of course. I mean, that's just that's Dylan Brooks.
It comes with the territory.
Vernon Maxwell, Ron Artest, Dennis Rodman, Dylan Brooks, they have a mean streak. That's kind of who they are. And they're going to play that one brand of aggressive basketball. It comes with the territory. However, some of these calls have been a little tick for tack, man. Those calls that I don't think that should be called on him anyways. But of course, he's against King LeBron. It's going to be a lot more spotlighted. But overall, these games have not been fun to watch. They have not been able to... this was the worst, one of the worst road games that they played all season. And
they haven't been playing with any momentum.
Right.
There's no. I'm not saying they're not motivated, but you can see that they kind of get off kilter really easily. The Rockets had a double-digit lead in the first, and then the Lakers in the second quarter went on a huge run, and the Rockets could never scratch and claw their way back, and it was very discouraging. Like it said, they only scored 14 points in the second quarter. It was horrendous. It was terrible. It was ugly. It was disgusting.
Yeah, and they, like we said, the LA Lakers, the free throw discrepancy says it all. Lakers attempted 27 on Saturday, while the Rockets, they only got 18. So, there you go. That's a good portion of it. 11 of 31 from 3. That's not horrible. They held LA for 8 for 27, so that was fine. I think a lot of it is we need the aggression that the team plays with at home, that swagger that they play with at home. I've yet to see that on the road. We've seen them finish close games at home. We've seen them make big key moments. Jayshawn Tate with the steal against the Pelicans. Or no, not against the Pelicans? Was it against the Pelicans? Was it Jayshawn Tate, the big steal? No, sorry. The Jayshawn Tate steal against the Nuggets. The big 3 by Fred VanVleet to seal the game against the Pelicans in the play-in tournament.
Yep.
They are more. This team is more than capable of clutch buckets. Not to bring it down, because Alperen Şengün had a big. I mean, last time they were in LA before last game. I mean, Alperen Şengün had the game-tying bucket. Like he would they're capable of these moments, but they need to avoid either playing from behind or executing down the stretch to avoid like that last minute where you're either playing from behind or you're trying to tie the game. Being ahead and making clutch plays on the defensive end to solidify your status. And I stand on this by saying that I think the Rockets, they need to see one. I said this last episode, I'm going to say it again. They need one. They get one.
Yeah, they just need one victory.
Give me one.
You know, like this team, you're correct, plays with a swagger at home. We need to carry that along with us. Whatever juice, whatever music, whatever vibes that they have in that locker room, that needs to carry on to the plane. You need to take it to the next city. And when you walk off that flight, you need to walk off that flight with the same swag you walked in there with, man. Confidence is something that is innate. You carry it, and when you're not confident, it shows. You have to always believe that you can walk into any arena and win. And I do think that the Rockets do feel that way, but once they're down, you really do see the body language. It's not encouraging. It's not fun to see, but with the youth, that comes with it.
Yeah, that's normal.
That's all part of it.
Pretty typical.
And we've already seen the culture turn its tide, but we're on now to notch 2, to where it's like, okay, where can we overcome these road woes, and what can Ime do to get these players onto the right track to put some W's in the road column? So we'll see how that goes. We won't play a road game until Friday, but, you know, we'll see. We're playing against Denver again. I feel like we pllayed Denver every other freaking game.
No, it's gonna be this will be the 4th game.
Yeah,
we played against Denver
it's
in December.
Insane.
So like when I said this at the last episode, a couple episodes ago, when I said that their schedule does get easier, this game got flexed because we didn't make the play-in tournament. So it's like it just doesn't end. The load is gonna lighten up. I think once we play Denver, get through. I mean, OKC obviously they're the number 2 seed right now, which we're gonna talk about right here in our next segment. But once they get past that line, they should be fine. But this is gonna be a good test for Ime Udoka and the Houston Rockets. Can they win on the road? Can he change and shift that culture properly in phase 2 now to where they can finally turn it? It's not going to take it shouldn't take a whole season anymore. Like, that excuse is gone. You got the players, you got the veterans that can kind of round the troops up, and you have the raw talent now of the young guys.
Yeah.
Put it together, make it happen, and we should hopefully get a road win. I don't know if we're going to get it against Denver. It's going to be very difficult. But before we get Friday to Denver, in Denver, we do have a game preview right now. The Houston Rockets' next game is going to be against the Oklahoma City Thunder in Toyota Center on Wednesday. So let's go ahead and talk about it, GM. The 13-6 Oklahoma City Thunder, big surprise in the NBA. Lots of talent to be made, but they have been making a lot of noise. First-year rookie Chet Holmgren, technically second year, but also first year because it's first year playing. You know, I got SGA, obviously, who's been playing out. Who, you know, he's an all-star, one of the best players in the NBA, like hands down.
He's an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he's an MVP candidate. You got some guy, you got hoopers here, but they're coming in now. GM, right now, real quick, three keys and a final score.
Okay. The first key is to ensure that SGA does not go off. This team needs to play with a collective effort to not allow SGA to take over this game. He is an MVP candidate. He's one of the top players in the league currently. He is someone that the Rockets need to ensure that they keep an eye on. Number 2, get your swagger back, boys. Walk into Toyota Center, walk out of Toyota Center the same way. Walk in winners, walk out winners. That's all we need. The Rockets just need to get back on track, get back to 500. Dylan Brooks, play the defense that you do. Jabari Smith Jr., do what you've been doing. And Jalen Green and LP, we need you guys to be cohesive. We need you guys to score. We need you guys to play defense and be the stars that you could possibly be. And number 3, hold Josh Giddey under 18.
Wow.
Sorry, I couldn't help that.
Final score, GM.
Final score.
I'm sorry, guys. Final score,
Final
GM.
score, 108-96.
I apologize.
Houston.
Awesome. Okay. All
We're
right.
in it.
All right. For me, my keys to the game, they're pretty straightforward. Obviously, I want LP to continue that pick and roll stretch that he had with Fred VanVleet, continue to attack. I want them to go back to that bread and butter that's been working for them. I want to see a consistent pick and roll, get LP going. Once we can kind of get there, it kind of sets a precedent going into the game. It puts pressure on a Chet Holmgren to have to play against an LP. I expect LP to be pushing him around. He's like half his size. Fully expect him to get in there. Point number 2, I do want more aggression from this team. They are playing at home, so the swagger, like the GM said, should be there. So play with an aggression, play your brand of basketball. It seems like when you go on the road, the Houston Rockets brand of basketball kind of gets put to bed. Go back to what's made y'all great. Go back to what's given y'all 8 wins. Continue the home cooking. You've only lost 1 game against home, and it was against one of the former dynasties in Golden State. Key number 3, obviously, continue to get my son cooking. Jabari Smith Jr. continually being that X factor for the team. Hit your open shots, hit your mid-range jumpers, continue to tack on 15 to 17 points a game, and help lock down against certain players like a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like a Chet Holmgren. If you're going against either of them, I expect Jabari Smith Jr. to be there when it matters most. My prediction is, because I'm 8-1. No,
you're 8-2.
I'm 8-2 officially. Damn. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go 118, 110. So I'm gonna go 118 to 110. The Rockets ultimately get the W. 8-point win for the Houston Rockets, which should notch win number 9 and puts the team back at 500. GM, let's get ready, obviously, to go home here. But before we do, we have to give a shout-out to Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint, one time for everyone out there. 2 for Tuesday. Go ahead and get your favorite flavors. Buy one, get one free. You can get it bone-in. You can get it boneless, whichever you want. I am a medium and lemon pepper type of cat. GM, what are your type of flavors your go-to?
Spicy ranch, lemon pepper, and I forgot the gold flavor.
It's gold something.
But it's so good. But those 2 are pretty much my favorite. Like going there for lunch, getting boneless wings for $8.99 and fries. It's a great deal.
It's a great deal.
It's a great deal.
It's a fantastic
great
deal.
Place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 for Tuesday. That is their highlighted deal. Mm-hmm. But you go there on Sundays to watch the NFL. Multiple TV screens. They are continually doing it on Saturday. They got their gridiron specials for $24.99. You get 5 bone-in wings, 5 boneless wings. They get 5 white wings, onion rings, chili cheese waffle fries, and more. All of that for the gridiron special for $24.99. A big time special for all you college football watchers out there. And once again, be sure to visit them. Find your nearest location of Big City Wings nearest to you. That's right, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint, one time. GM, let's get ready to go home here. I want to see the Houston Rockets win this one. I need it for the culture.
Me too.
I need it for the home team. I need more home cooking. I need more wins on the board. Mm-hmm. I did not want to be under 500 coming back from that road trip, but we are still winless on the road. I do expect for them to get better. GM. Oh, real quick, actually, before we go home here, real quick, let's give our dog of the week, our DAWG dog of the week. GM, who's your dog of the week?
Man, honestly,
we haven't been. Yeah,
we haven't done it.
We had a week.
My dog of the week goes to Ime Udoka.
Oh!
Let LeBron James know that he's a soft ass little boy. That's my dog.
It. That's a spicy take. I like it.
Ime is a effing dog.
Ime's a dog. Dog of the. Okay, you know what? It's unanimous. Ime Udoka is easily the dog of the week.
Is it the first time we've been unanimous?
Maybe.
It might count for the handshake.
No. Oh, okay. All right. No, actually, no. I think we did the Dylan Brooks. I think maybe I'll do this. Each time we get it right, we'll do the handshake. Each time we're unanimous, we'll do the handshake. There you go. That's cool.
Well, how about you guys tell us? Would you prefer us to do the handshake when when we're unanimous voting?
I don't know. I hope so. I mean, like, I enjoy that. I actually think whether they like it or not, I'd like.
We're just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna do it regardless. Yeah. Guys, also, so drop your comment below. Who's your dog of the week? Is it Ime Udoka? Is it Alperen Şengün? Drop your dog of the week. And remember from our first question from earlier, did Ime Udoka deserve to get ejected from that exchange. I want to know your thoughts between the exchange between LeBron James and Ime Udoka. Drop a comment down below and drop your dog of the week below. GM, give the people what they want here as we get ready to go home.
All right, everyone, please be sure to follow me on Twitter at JP_Mirabueno. Make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter and TikTok at Sumit, SOMPOD.
Yeet.
Follow us on Instagram at SummitStateOfMind_POD.
Yeet.
Make sure to follow our people, our group, our brothers, our family at Apollo NBA
Yeet.
and at Apollo HOU.
Yeet.
And do not forget, guys, do not forget, I'm reminding you again, make sure to super kick that subscribe button
Yeet.
so you can see us every time we release a new episode.
That's right.
Yep.
That was really well
Absolutely.
done. You can follow me on Twitter as well at Summit Commish. Be sure to give a follow to all of our Apollo podcast brethren that continue to kill the game. BTD, Beyond the Diamond, Crown Jewel of all Houston Nationals podcast. Be sure to give them your first listen. Shouts to the Houston Texans once again. Off the Gridiron, Apollo Texans. Be sure to give them your first listen for all Houston Texans content. CJ Stroud, absolutely HIM him. And we appreciate each and every one of y'all for making us your first listen for each and every... Oh,
Let's add 2 more podcasts.
Oh,
Do not forget
okay.
the Apollo NBA podcast,
Oh,
Zero Gravity,
yes.
with our boy Stoney and Josh, our writer, for what we learned about the Rockets on ApolloHOU.com. And make sure to listen to Play Action Takes, our NFL podcast with Stoney, Garrett, and Noah, I believe, is also the NFL podcast.
Yeah, the official NFL podcast for Apollo Media. Yeah, be sure to do that. You can add that on your sign off. I'm memorizing a lot of words.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was great. Be sure to listen to all the Apollo podcast brethren that continue to kill the game. All the podcasts, everything under one network. Be sure to subscribe on our YouTube, subscribe to our Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you get your shows. So let's get ready to go home here. I'm going to end this episode as I end every episode with a Go Summit, Go Apollo, and please get back to 500. Go back to what you do well. Get the win. Beat the Thunder. Go Rockets. Oh, and one more thing. Watch basketball.
Premature.
Yeah, why didn't you premature yeeted? Why can't you know like this? We've been doing this sign off for like months now.
I got excited.
Premature yeetalation. All right. Watch basketball. Okay, now do it.
Yeah.
Yeet.
That was good.